So, because the contents of this chapter is pure devotional service. And when we are reading about pure devotional service, how this description of material world fits into. So we ended on that note that we will think about it, and next time we start from there. So anyone interested to share some views about it? How the last few verses they help us to become pure devotees. Any thoughts? Yes. Bharat Krishna. Yeah, Bharat Krishna Prabhu first, then Venadani Prabhu. Huh? You can unmute, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome, Prabhuji.
Right.
And so when these verses 9:4 to 9:10, we see that what Krishna is telling is that this information, nowhere it's available in the world. In the way Krishna is unfolding this. And also, just before that, in 9:3, Krishna talks about faith and how the faithless cannot understand what he's going to be telling. So, because when somebody who is intelligent can think and can question himself or question the world, he or she would see that there is no other plausible answer but to rely on what Krishna is telling, because we see these big planets, how they are floating in the air. But since it is the energy of the Lord, it's a bit like a big ship floating in the sea. When we understand physics, we can understand how this ship is not sinking. So similarly, how these big planets, they are floating on that energy of Krishna. He's within that and he's also outside of it, and how this is. And so it makes a very sensible understanding from a scientific perspective to see that, well, this is plausible. And when we go further and further to see, then we can understand better and have faith, because have more and more faith. And then we can be at peace with ourselves that there is a plausible answer. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes. So the modern science cannot answer all this, but we are getting this rarest of the knowledge, and it also enrich our faith on the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. And bhakti also starts with faith, so it is directly related to pure devotional service. Yes, Nishta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Sorry, Venudhari Prabhu. Sorry, after Venudhari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Shabbat Ki Jai.
Yes.
So Prabhu, we realize by reading this 3 to 4 verses that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So all the demigods are relying on the Supreme Lord. So why not become an Ananya Bhakta? So why not go directly to the Supreme Lord? If anybody can realize it, so it will be very easy for anybody to surrender to the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, the big authorities of this universe, the demigods, they're also surrendering to the Supreme Lord. So why should we go to them? We should directly surrender to the Supreme Lord. Another way of understanding it is, if such powerful beings are surrendering to the Supreme Lord, who are we to rebel against? We should also surrender. Yes, Nishta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. As discussed in the chapter 7 also, that we love somebody or we are engaged in somebody when we know him. if we don't know a person, we can't put our heart to him. So these all the verses in which we learn that how God is connected to the material world. So this shows how great the supreme personality of Godhead is, and it is making us closer to know the supreme personality of God. So we can do bhakti through it. Thank you.
Yes, very, very important point that we can't love someone unless we know him. So we are knowing Krishna. Now, the way we know anything is from known to unknown. The process of learning is from known to unknown. Now, in conditioned state of life, we have experience of material world. So when we see Krishna's relation with the material world, it makes more sense to us in conditioned life. And then slowly, slowly, we can also understand about the spiritual world. So then loving Krishna, serving Krishna becomes more natural. Usha Mataji?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. This verse emphasizes that Krishna pervades this entire universe in his unmanifested form. All beings are in him. Krishna is everywhere. He is the source of creation, just as wind rests in the sky. So everything rests in Krishna. And by constantly thinking of Lord Krishna with love and devotion, our bhakti will always improve. That's all, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mataji. Jagatambika Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. So, as Krishna, we can see that Krishna, so Krishna is all pervaded, and generally people cannot see him with material senses. But like Mother Yashoda was loves Krishna very much without any condition, and the pastimes of Krishna eating mud. That when Mother Yashoda could see the whole cosmic manifestation in his mouth, and it is a big example how Krishna is in everything, and everything is in Krishna, and that Krishna can be present everywhere at the same time. Example of this is pastime of Krishna and his Ranis in Dwarkadish, and also we can see that Krishna's energy of flawless, like every planet, everything are being done without any fault. Everything is being every planet are orbiting in their own space, and that by his will, everything is being done by his energy. So a devotee here can understand the sweetness and greatness of Krishna, and that is nothing is important that Krishna, and so the devotee can just surrender his life and soul to Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Amalarjun Prabhu? You can unmute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So one of the things which I realized, Prabhuji, in going through these verses and based on the class that we had, when we think about Krishna, what comes to our mind is his eternal blissful pastimes and activities. That's the first thing that comes to our mind. At the same time, the Supreme Lord, he's a controller. He's Ishvara. He's controlling everything. And one Sanskrit term that is used is Udasinavat, where despite everything, he's actually maintaining neutrality, and he's in control over the minutest of details, but he's dealing in such a way that he's got nothing to do with the material world. So this is something which is a very unique thing that Krishna exhibits in his pastimes, dealings, and everything, and we have to also detach ourselves as much as possible from the material world and show more and more attachment to our Supreme Father. So this is the realization I got from it.
Yeah. Yes, it's a systematic development of attachment to Krishna. we know him more. And also, if we realize that he is in everything, he is controlling every situation, then we understand that whatever happening in my life is by his mercy. So devotee becomes more Krishna conscious, his faith increases. And also he doesn't feel that he is the doer. So he also becomes free from that mentality of being the doer, being the controller, which is again the main reason for bondage. Yes. Sarashti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanyavad Pranam. From the verses, we learn that Prabhu understand and accept the Supreme Lord as the absolute truth. He is the object of worship. He is the object of worship. For all living beings, he is the true friend, the support, refuge, and the final goal. Souls who engage in exclusive devotion towards the Supreme Lord go to his abode and remain there. A devotee who does everything for him and offering everything to him, the pure devotion helps devotees to attain the mystic union with God and release them from the bondage of karmas.
Yes, so we all are bound to this material world. And if we want to really free from the actions and reactions, then we have to understand that only one person under whom whole this system is working, he only has ability to free us from this bondage, and that is Krishna. So we have to realize all these points to start our pure devotional service. Many times people may say that, oh, bhakti means you don't need any gyan. Bhakti means you just need emotion. But it's not correct. Then it will become sentimental. So here Krishna is giving us the sambandha gyan of how we are related to him in the conditioned life, and we can become more and more Krishna conscious. So if we realize, we understand all this, and after understanding this, a general question can be asked that, okay, if Krishna is so great, why everyone doesn't worship Krishna? Why everyone doesn't respect Krishna? What is the problem? So then Krishna is speaking about a few category of people in the next few sections. He is first telling about impersonalists. In 11th and 12th verses, 2 verses he is talking about impersonalists. And then 13th and 14th verse, he is talking about pure devotees. Then next, 16, 17, 18, 19, 4 verses, he is talking about worshippers of Vishwarupa, the universal form of the Lord. And last, in 6 verses, he is talking about demigod worshippers. So he's telling about different kind of worships. Everyone is worshipping Krishna, some directly, some indirectly. But here Krishna is comparing them, and he's telling how he is so rare. It's not that anybody can understand him. So let us start with 9.11. Avajananti mamudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhutva maheshwaram. Devadev Prabhu, would you like to read?
Krishna Prabhuji, this is Mahamudra Vicences.
Right.
Translation of text 11. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme Lord of all that be.
This is the symptom of an impersonalist. See, impersonalist, the main characteristic is they can't accept any form. Imperson. So when Lord comes in his transcendental form, they deride that also. That, oh, if somebody is in a form, then he cannot be God. But they don't understand param bhavam. Param bhavam used in this verse, you can highlight it. Param bhavam means his form is not material, his form is divine. But because our form is material, we are trying to put Lord in the same category. Like Prabhupada would talk about Dr. Frog. You know, Dr. Frog? There was a frog who used to live in a well, and another frog came from Pacific Ocean. This another frog told you, do you know, my friend, Pacific Ocean is very big. How big? Is same as my well? Double size of my well? 4 times of my well? This is Dr. Frog philosophy. Prabhupada said that we are limiting Lord according to our experience, but his form is Param Bhavam. His form is spiritual. Material bodies cannot perform the wonderful acts which is described in the previous verses. We have seen so many things in the previous verses. Can any material person perform it? No. So although Lord is looking like human, Manusham Tanum Ashrita means he looks like human being. He takes a human form, but his body is spiritual. Because all those verses which he told before this verse, those things are only possible by the Supreme Lord, not any normal person. Chetan Prabhu, can you read?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu. They cannot imagine that a form like that of a human being can simultaneously control the infinite and the minute. Actually, although he is controlling the infinite and the finite, he is apart from all this manifestation. It is clearly stated concerning his Yogam Aishwaryam, his inconceivable transcendental energy, that he can control the infinite and the finite simultaneously, and that he can remain aloof from them.
So these special qualities are only present in the Supreme Lord. He can control the big gigantic planets, and he can also control the minute living entities, minute cells, atoms, everything. And still being present everywhere, he is also aloof from them. He is not affected by it. So this thing only the Supreme Lord can do, not any normal person. Sudevi Mataji, can you read translation for 12th verse?
Yes, Prabhuji. Only the translation, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Those who are thus bewildered or attracted by demonic and atheistic views, in that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated.
So when you try to test Krishna, or you try to judge Krishna with our own materialistic point of view, then what happens? We harm our own spiritual life. And here Krishna is saying in that deluded condition, not only spiritual life, if they are muktikamis, if they are jnanis, they lose their liberation. If they are karmis, they lose their fruitive activities. And all their culture of knowledge is defeated. That means, like I think I give this example before also. In India, we have this electricity of 220 volts. In US, they have 110 volts. So if you have to test that some place there is electric current or not, we generally use tester. You have used this tester? So this tester has a iron thing in the front, and at back there is little light. And if you put in place, if there is electric current, this light becomes on. Now this is meant to test only 220 volts. Suppose we take this tester and we put this tester on the powerhouse, then what will happen? The tester will also grow, we will also blow off. This is our condition. So our minute intelligence is to understand little things. That is okay. Eating, meeting, sleeping, defending, that is okay. But if we try to put our intelligence and understand the Supreme Lord, then our all culture of knowledge get defeated. Therefore, his name is Adhokshaja. Adhokshaja means all materialistic endeavors to know him, he has all right to defeat them. He is beyond all these materialistic endeavors to approach him. So then how to approach the Supreme Lord? Krishna is demoralizing us. How to know him? Krishna said, don't get demoralized. He is telling the secret, open secret in the next verse, 13th verse. So let us read this. Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakritim ashrita bhajanti ananya manaso gyatva bhutadim avyayam. Very important verse. Prabhupada liked this verse very much. You can mark this verse. Mahatmanastu mam partha. Mahatma. Who is Mahatma? Not Mahatma Gandhi. Here Mahatma is something else. Who is real Mahatma? Mahan Atma. Atma is soul. Everyone is normal soul. But who is great soul? One who is not deluded. Mahatma, simple definition of Mahatma is one who is not deluded, one who is not bewildered. In 11th and 12th verse, Krishna told about them, those who are bewildered. Now Krishna is telling in 13th and 14th verse about one who is not bewildered. Unlike mudhas means fools. They deride Krishna's form, Krishna told in last verse. But Mahatmas, they accept Krishna's divine nature. Mahatma nastu mam partha devim prakritim ashrita. They take shelter of the divine nature of the Supreme Lord. Bhajati ananya manaso. And what do they do after taking shelter? They serve me. They get engaged in my bhajati means serving. Not with material motives. Ananya manaso. Undivided devotional service. Gyatva bhutadi avyayam. Because they know that my devotional service, because they know me as the Supreme Lord, avyayam, inexhaustible and original. Let us see these terms one by one. Devim prakritim ashrita. Devim prakriti means spiritual energy of Lord. Devim prakritim. As we discussed before also, Krishna has three primary energies which are manifested in the material world. One is a spiritual energy in the form of devotional service. One is material energy in the form of material world, objects, senses, body, everything. And conditioned souls who are tathastha shakti, marginal potency. So now this marginal potency, living entities have choice. Either they can be conditioned or they can be liberated. So here these Mahatmas are those, great souls are those who choose to be under the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. They choose to surrender to Krishna. Ashrita, ashray means shelter. So they take shelter of the Supreme Lord. In simple terms, they get engaged in the devotional service. 9 aspects of devotional service, starting from Shravan and Kirtan. Bhajanti ananya manaso. This is another aspect. Ananya, we have studied this word many times. Ananya means no other option, no other shelter than Krishna. Ananya, undivided, pure devotion to Krishna. That is bhajanti ananya manaso. And gyatva bhutadim avyayam. It is not sentimental. It is based on complete knowledge. Gyatva bhutadim avyayam. They know me as Supreme Personality of God. It's not that, okay, I am worshipper of Sai Baba. He is also Supreme Lord. No, it's not about sentiment. It is because they understood the fact that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. Therefore, they take shelter of the Supreme Lord. This is the definition of a Mahatma. It's not that any person, who may display some morality or he may speak nicely or give some nice, teachings of ahimsa or non-violence, we can call him Mahatma. No. Lord is saying this is the definition of Mahatma. One who knows Supreme Lord, engage in undivided service to his lotus feet. That is Mahatma. And how practically he does it, Krishna is telling in the next verse. So first let us read the translation of this verse. Okay. Bhutva Prabhu, can you read the translation? Please unmute and read.
O son of
Yes.
Partha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible.
Yeah. Namrasita Mataji, you have doubt?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु, कैसे हैं आप? यस प्रभु, आए हैं.
Okay, nice. Nice. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, I have a question in page, okay, verse 12, 9.12.
Yes.
There is a line, it says, it is just the last paragraph of this verse. One who considers the body of Krishna to be material should be driven out from all rituals and activities of the Shruti and Smriti. What does it mean?
Shruti and Smriti are two sections of our Vedic literatures. Shruti means which is heard. That is, Shruti is basically the condensed spiritual knowledge which is given in Parampara. Basically the Vedas. The solid religious principles are called Shruti. And what is Smriti? Smriti means historical evidences. Puranas come in Smriti. Smriti, the word Smriti means memory. Memory of the history. Like, to substantiate Vedic literature, there are some examples. That is Smriti. Like, we are hearing about Ananya Bhakti here. But are there any examples of Ananya Bhakti? Yes. So many examples. We find that in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam comes in Smriti. Some people say that Bhagavad Gita is also Smriti, but it is wrong. Bhagavad Gita is Shruti. Although it comes in Mahabharata, which is a Smriti scripture, which is a history, but since it is directly spoken by the Supreme Lord, it is Shruti. Like Vedas are directly spoken by the Supreme Lord, they are Shruti. So if in simple understanding, one is formula and one is example. So Shrutis are formulas, the condensed instructions of the Supreme Lord. And Smriti is the examples, the itihas, the history. So that is coming, Puranas come into Smritis. So there are many rituals given in Shrutis and Smritis. But according to this Brihad Vishnu Smriti, which Prabhupada is quoting, if one is not accepting Lord's form as spiritual, then he is not qualified to do any rituals according to Shruti and Smriti. Because then where is the faith? He doesn't have faith on this transcendental nature of the Lord. So he is not qualified. Because any spiritual practice starts with faith. So therefore, that the Prabhupada is quoting it from the Smriti Shastra. Okay?
Yes.
So Devi Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, the same paragraph. It's mentioned that people who are envious like of the Lord, the destiny is certainly to take birth after birth in the species of atheistic and demoniac. It's like it's unacceptable. Like people can they perpetually will remain under delusion, and they will always remain in the darkest region of creation. It's such people do exist. Like it's unbelievable. They do not believe in the Lord Krishna. How
Because
can they be
because
innocent?
because you are so pure soul, it's hard
Oh,
for you to believe. But materialistic person like me, I can see in myself. I have no devotion to Krishna, so much envy. So it's quite possible. So many people around, they don't have any devotion to Krishna. And worst are those, like in Ishopanishad we will study. Worst are those who are getting opportunity to worship Krishna, then also they are not worshiping. They go to darkest region of hell. See, people who have no opportunity, they are unfortunate. But those who are getting opportunity to serve Krishna, then also they are not becoming sincere. That is very much the symptom of envy to the Supreme Lord. So yes, they have to suffer life after life. Such people exist.
yes, but you're telling about yourself, like you're envious. But you're chanting Hare Krishna. How about us? We are chanting Hare Krishna, but we don't have any chance to like not going to hell.
Yeah, like those who are surrendered to Krishna, Prabhupada is not talking about them. But Prabhupada is talking about them, those who deride Krishna's transcendental nature. So that is what Prabhupada is telling.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Namrasita Mataji.
Prabhu, regarding the lower planetary systems, the lower planets also have human beings?
Sorry?
The lower planets, like the higher planets or the other universes, they have human beings. So lower planets also have human beings?
Not exactly like Bhumandal human beings, but like there are 4 lakh types of 400,000 types of human beings. Some are lower, like Asuras. They also are type of human beings. Devatas are also higher grade of human beings. And we are Bhulok Mandal, we are one grade of human beings. So they live in different species of human beings. There are 400,000 types of human beings.
Sure.
So that species, they live in lower planetary systems.
So they get the chance somehow to come to the earth and elevate themselves to Krishna consciousness.
Yes. When they finish their sinful actions, I mean reactions to their sinful actions, they are again given chance to come to human platform on Bhumandal.
Otherwise, there is no other way. They have to finish their span of.
Yes.
Otherwise, they. Okay.
See, if they do punya, they go to upper planetary system. When they finish their credit, they have to fall back. And when they do papa, it's like debt. So you have to repay the debt. So for that, they go to the lower planets, they suffer for their sinful actions, and they come back. So Bhumandal is like exit door. Like suppose you have 14-story building, but out of that 14 stories, 7 are underground and 7 are above ground. If you want to get out of the building, you have to come to the ground floor, provided you don't have a helicopter pad on the top of 14th floor. You have to come to the ground floor. So that ground floor is Bhumandal. And underground 7 stories are the lower planetary systems. Like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So now the symptoms of Mahatma, what exactly he does in practical terms. Okay, he engaged in undivided devotion, but what he does, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. Kirtayanto means, Kirtan means chanting of Lord's name. So people ask, where in Gita it is told to chant? You people are just chanting. Arjun was fighting on the battlefield. You should not chant and dance. People are making such kind of videos on YouTube. So you can show them this verse. Krishna is saying, my real Mahatma, who is under my spiritual energy, what he does? Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. He chants my name always. Satatam means always. Thanks to Srila Prabhupada, he gave us discount of 16 rounds. Otherwise, Krishna is more strict. Krishna is saying, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. You have to chant all the time. And how? Yatantascha dridavrata. Yatantascha dridavrata. Yatantas means endeavoring. He endeavors hard to be in the shelter of the Supreme Law. Because in material world, padam padam yat vipadam, there are so many hurdles which come on devotional service. But a devotee on physical level, on mental level, on intellectual level, all levels, he endeavors. Yatantas means endeavors to be engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. And how? Not grudgingly, not crying. Dridavrata is very determined. Dridavrata, very determined. Like today is Ekadashi. So following Ekadashi is one of the aspect of Dridavrata, being determined. Food is there in front of us, but we can't eat because we want to be Krishna conscious. We want to control our senses. And then, not that after doing all this, he becomes very proud. No, he is humble. Namayantascha. He bows down. He offers respects. Nitya yukta upasate. Not occasionally, always. Nitya yukta means, Nitya means eternally, perpetually. He is engaged in my service. So very important verse. In one verse, Krishna summarizes the process of devotional service. Yes, somebody raised hand. Yes, Sachi Maharani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have one question in this verse, like you were saying, na, that we should always do Sankirtana, chanting, and everything. But like it is impossible that every time, but we are engaged in some or the other service. But I have a question, like, Prabhuji, those people who don't do at all, like, and they are so happy, they are progressing materially and with the family also. So like, and you are saying that in this material world, padam padam vipadam. So how come, no, don't they face challenges? Like we see their life so happy, celebrating always, doing this, that. So like I just think, like, don't they feel these challenges? And here Krishna is saying that, if we will not do this, then we will suffer. So
See, first of all, Krishna is telling about Satatam Kirtayantamam. Acharyas have been mercifully, because Acharyas understand our situation, they have extended this concept of Kirtan. They told that Kirtan means to glorify Lord. Okay, you cannot chant whole day, but you can glorify Lord through your service. You can glorify Lord by assisting others in their service. So this is also Kirtan. And it is better Kirtan, which is called Sankirtan, when devotees come together and glorify Lord, and which is also the Yuga Dharma of this age. So that is the first part of your thought. Another thing which you told about the materialistics. See, when a branch gets separated from a tree, it ripens fast. Have you seen? If you cut a branch from a tree, all leaves they become yellow very fast. Is it sign of advancement or deterioration? It already got separated. Now, maybe externally they are feeling we are very happy, but that happiness is in the mode of goodness, mode of ignorance. We say no, ignorance is bliss. Like there are so many goats in the butcher house, in the slaughterhouse, and this butcher is killing one goat, and another goat, who is the next, is peacefully eating the grass. I'm so happy because outside I have to roam here and there. This butcher is so nice, he's giving me grass so nicely. Now imagine one of the goat tries to escape from the slaughterhouse. That goat has to run around here and there, somehow manage to escape. He is breathing heavily, somehow trying to hide somewhere. Now, if a third person who is observing this, he may say, why this goat is taking so much trouble to run? Look at this other goat peacefully eating grass. He's so happy. And this goat is in so much anxiety. But this goat knows, who is trying to escape, that I am trying to escape from this butcher. This is for my future. And this goat, who is eating grass peacefully in the slaughterhouse, it is only looking at temporary, momentary happiness. Let us consider about eternity. Anadi karma phale podi bhavar navajale. We are in material world since eternity. It's like so long time. And considering that time period, if we get even enjoyment within this life, which may be 60, 70, 80 years, this is a momentary pleasure. Will we trade our eternal happiness for momentary pleasure of 60 years in this world? So when we see these people enjoying, we should understand, we should imagine their body with head of a goat, because they are the same goat who are happy in eating grass. They'll be slaughtered soon. Maya will not leave them. But devotees are intelligent. Therefore, they are Brahmana. Prabhupada talks about this in his purport. Brahmana and Kripana. Kripana means short-sighted. He can only see for small, petty profits, temporary benefits. But Brahmana means he's far-sighted. He can think about future. So yes, devotees, and it's not that devotees are suffering also. Is chanting is suffering? Is taking prasadam suffering? Is associating with devotees suffering? Is tolerating a Bhakti Sastri class may be suffering? But other aspects of devotional service are not suffering. So we are enjoying while practicing, and if we perfect, we go back to Krishna, we serve him in complete bliss for eternity. But think about the karmis. They may be thinking that they are enjoying, or maybe they may be getting some momentary pleasure in this world. But what about their eternal life? Whole, for eternity, they will be suffering in the material world. So we should look with that vision. Okay? Let us read translation of this verse number 14. Arun Charan Prabhu, would you like to read? You can unmute. Arun Charan Prabhu. Yes.
Me,
Translation.
Prabhuji, or you said someone else?
You only, Prabhuji.
Okay, I heard. Just the translation, verse 14.
Yes.
Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion.
So this is the characteristic of a pure devotee. This verse should be the motto for our devotional service. And we see all our acharyas, like if you see the life of Srila Prabhupada, we can see all these aspects. Like, let us see. Can you see my screen? Like, you can see my screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. Like, Satatam Kirtayantu Mam, always chanting. Prabhupada is always engaged in chanting or the Sankirtan, glorifying the Supreme Lord, not even wasting a little time in his life. Yatantasya, endeavoring very, he was working very hard day and night. Prabhupada would only sleep for 2-3 hours. Dridhavrata, determined. One who could not get any support from even his god brothers. Forget about outsiders. That person also determined in serving Krishna. And humble. He always say that, no, my Guru Maharaj is sending these boys and girls. Nitya yukta upasate. Always engaged. Even on his deathbed, where there is no energy to even rise above the bed. Prabhupada is translating. One devotee is Pradyumna Prabhu is holding the microphone, and he is translating 13th chapter of 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is Mahatma. This is real Mahatma, who are completely dependent on the Supreme Lord. Now Krishna talks about Anye. Anye means others. Other than these pure devotees, there are other classes of people also who are not directly worshipping the Supreme Lord. So let us hear about these Anye. Anye, you can highlight this word Anye. Anye means others, other worshippers, other than pure devotees. Pratima Mataji, can you read the quote on the screen?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Now those who are directly worshipping the Supreme Lord, personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, they have been described as Mahatma. And there are others, worshippers, they cannot conceive of the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly on account of being less advanced.
Yeah, please complete.
Here, therefore, they have been described here, and yet others. So others, they worship the absolute truth in three different ways.
So in 15th verse, Krishna talks Jnana Yajnana Chapi Anye. Others. There are others who are engaged in different other worships. So let us see who are these others. Krishna is talking about three categories. One category is Ekatvena Shunyavadi. Krishna already told about this in the 11th and 12th verse. Who is this Ekatvena Shunyavadi? Impersonalists, Mayavadis. Those who don't want to accept the personal feature of the Supreme Lord. All these three kinds of Gyanis worship the Supreme Lord only. It's not that they worship somebody else, but it's indirect worship. It's not direct worship like pure devotees. So first there is Ekatvena Shunyavadi. We already saw this in 11 to 12th verses, where Krishna was saying that those who deride my human form, they are mudhas. They cannot get this knowledge. And then better than that, little advanced than that is Vishwato Mukham. What is that Vishwato Mukham? Those who worship universal form. See, one category is they say Lord doesn't have any form. Okay? That is the most low, the lowest platform of spiritual realization. Impersonal. Better than that is those who say, oh, nature is God. Every aspect of this world is Lord's form. So let us worship this different elements of nature as Supreme Lord. Worshippers of the universal form. This is little better than impersonalist. Then even better than that is Prathakvena Bahuda, demigod worshippers. Now the person is coming in picture, demigod worshippers. And best than all these three is Ananya Bhakta, who is worshipping the Supreme Personality of God. So these three types of worshippers are not idol worshippers. But Krishna is telling about them to distinguish pure devotional service from other methods, other methods. So first one Krishna told about impersonalists. Second is worshippers of the universal form. And third is demigod worshippers. So we'll see this one by one. Let us read verse number 15. Usha Mataji, can you read the translation?
Yes, Prabhuji. Others who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form.
So here Krishna is telling about the other category. They may be worshippers of impersonal aspect, they may be universal form worshippers, or they may be demigod worshippers. So let us see it one by one. Verse 16. Amal Arjun Prabhu.
But it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering.
So now from 16th to 19, 16, 17, 18, 19, these 4 verses, Krishna is telling about worshippers of Vishwarupa. I'm again repeating what is Vishwarupa. Vishwa means this material world, universe. And seeing Lord or perceiving Lord's presence through nature, through this material world, through universe, that is called the worshippers of universal form. So here Krishna is telling the same thing. Krishna is telling his presence in different situations. That I am ritual, I am sacrifice, I am the offering to ancestors. So whenever person is engaged in all these things, healing herb, if you take medicine, then also you can become Krishna conscious. Then transcendental chant means the mantras, the butter, fire, and the offering, everything. So one who learns to see presence of Lord in all aspects of this world is better than impersonalist. This is second level of realization. Let us see further. Text 17. Sachidananda Prabhu, can you read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am the Rig, the Sama, and the Yajur Vedas.
So he is telling his presence in different aspects of this world, so that if you want to see Lord, you have no difficulty in relating with him. Some people may be very much fascinated with universe. Some may be very fascinated with Vedic knowledge. Some may be very fascinated with yajnas. So Krishna is saying, learn to see my presence in all this. Diya Mataji, text 18.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place, and the eternal seed.
So Krishna will not leave anything. He will say, okay, now in activities you want to see me, then I am the goal. I am the sustainer. I am the master. I am the witness of all activities. I am the abode. I am the refuge. And I am the Suhrit. Suhrit means well-wisher. I am creation, annihilation, basis of everything, resting place, and eternal seed from where everything starts. So Krishna is telling his universal form in nutshell. In 11th chapter, he will tell more in detail. Let us see. Keshav Priya Mataji, can you read 19th verse?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, yes. Verse 19. O Arjuna, I give heat and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality and I am also death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me.
So Krishna is telling in the last of these 4 verses that actually I am only the reason for sustenance of this world. I give heat, I give rain, I am the immortality, and I am also death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me, means I am the source of material world, I am the source of the souls, I am the source of the spiritual world also. So he is telling how his gigantic universal form is comprising everything possible in the material world. And in his spiritual form, he is situated in the spiritual world also. So that way, persons who are better than impersonalists can understand God through different elements of this universe. Namrasita Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu, I have a question in verse 16. The line says, the oblations offered to the Pitralok or the sacrifice performed to please the Pitralok considered as a kind of drug in the form of a clarified butter is also Krishna. So can you just explain a bit what?
Here, drug doesn't mean drugs. Here, drug means medicine. Here, drug means medicine. So when herbs and ghee is offered in sacrifice, that nourishes Pitras in the Pitraloka. And our offering it once a year, they are getting it every day. Because calculation, 6 months of our earthly calculation is 1 day in Pitraloka. And then 6 months, another 6 months in our earthly planets, 1 night of Pitraloka. So that means 1 year of our earthly calculation is 24 hours of Pitraloka. So when person does this once in a year, he gives oblations for the Pitras, they are receiving meal every day. So this here drug doesn't mean drugs, here drug means medicinal. That means elixir, life-giving, that type, oblations. Okay?
So Prabhu, Pitralok means where our ancestors are living. Is it so?
Yeah, ancestors, their abode is Pitraloka. If they are not liberated or they have not got next life as yet. If they got next life, then they will get food in that species. If they got liberated, no problem of hunger and food. But if they're still stuck due to their karmas, due to their some situation in Pitraloka, then the successors, they give offering to their Pitras.
So the Pitraloka planet is dependent on the offerings which the people give here in this earth.
It's not dependent, but it's structured in such a way. Like suppose somebody was so sinful that he didn't train his children to do all these rituals. Then he will not get food also. That you suffer for this also now. But you trained your children nicely, they will give Pitras. Actually, when this ceremony is done of Pindadan, even offerings are given to all maternal side, then paternal side, then for wives, family, then even neighbors, even some animal who came to our door and we gave some food to them, all get benefit. Some or other, whoever is connected to us, if somebody is in Pitraloka, when person does these rituals, they all get benefit. So this is the system arranged in such a way that what you did in your life will be tested afterwards. You never trained anybody, you never helped anybody. Why? Nobody wants to do Pindadan for you. That means what? You don't deserve food also. You suffer hunger and thirst. That way it's punishment for them.
So Prabhu, what happens to the devotees' parents who have left their body and the devotees are not doing anything else like Pitradan or something? They're not doing. So what happens to them?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did Pindadan for his father. But when he became pure devotee, when he met, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But in his pastime, when he met Ishwar Puri and he became pure devotee, then he didn't do that. So now problem with our devotees is, neither they are pure devotee, nor they do all these rituals. This is a problem. Either we practice pure devotional service, then we don't need all these rituals. But if we are not pure devotees, then we should do these rituals. Lord Ram did these rituals. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did these rituals. So why we should not do this ritual? So yes, for a pure devotee, no rituals are required. But are we pure devotee? We should ask ourselves. Like many devotees tell that, no, Prabhu, why we should help our parents, why we should, after all, these are material relations. Yes, they're material relations. But are we at that level of pure devotional service? That is the question. Then why do we go to doctor when we are sick? For pure devotee, he doesn't need doctor. Krishna will cure him. Prabhupada was cured by Krishna on Jaladuta. But we are neither pure devotees nor we do rituals. So that is not good.
Okay. Thank you so for clarifying this. It was very important. So one more question I have.
Yeah.
It is in the words, 17th word, the last line. And because in all the hymns of the 4 Vedas, Sam, Yajur, Rig, and Atharv, the pranav or omkara is very prominent. It is understood to be Krishna.
Yes.
How it is prominent? Yes.
Because all mantras, like yesterday, I think in previous class we discussed this about the beach. Did we discuss in this class? Oh, I don't remember. So every mantra, they have three parts. One is beach, one is nam, and one is nyas. This is three aspects of any mantra. Bij means the starting of any mantra. Bij. So it starts with Om, sometimes Aim, sometimes Kling. These are Bij mantras. And then the Nam, to whom we are denoting this mantra, to whom this mantra is reaching to. Like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So it's going to Vasudeva. Om Narayana Namaha, Narayan. Om Vishnave Namaha, Vishnu. Like that. And then it ends with Nyas. Like Namaha, Dhimai, Prachodayat. Like that. So maximum of the Vedic mantras, they start with the beach mantra Om. So she's so prominent that we cannot imagine Vedic mantras without Om. So Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, he tells, I am that Pranava, I am that Omkar. So anything possible in material spiritual world is by help of Krishna. He is the prominent present person. So that Omkar is impersonal aspect of the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada told Omkar is impersonal aspect of the Supreme Lord. And when you tell Hare Krishna is also sound representation of Krishna, but that is personal aspect of the Supreme Lord. Om is also sound representation of Krishna, but impersonal. Hare Krishna is personal. Okay. Arun Charan Prabhu.
I've got just this question, Prabhuji, that we were discussing about the inhabitants of Pitra Lok. So just wanted to know that this Pitra Lok, is it the lower planetary systems like the Narka planetary system that we understand, or it is some different category?
Not Narka. It's lower planet, but it's not Narka. It's like waiting room. You know, when we book our ticket in railways, sometimes, our ticket is in waiting. So ticket is not cancelled, but not confirmed also, in waiting. So sometimes, some living entities, they're so attached to previous life and they are not yet prepared to go to next life. They are put in Pitraloka and they have to wait there to prepare themselves, and then they are pushed into next life.
So is it like the desire of that jiva to go to the next life, or like it is by their karmas that they are waiting?
Karma, due to karma. Suppose tomorrow I die and I have to become a hog. Now, suddenly if I become a hog, I'll not eat stool. I'm not prepared to do that. I was a ISKCON devotee, I was eating halwa while I eat stool. So then there's some preparation needed. So either I'll become a ghost. Ghost is also such situation where person remains in subtle body and he's prepared by Yamraj for next species. And similarly, Pitraloka is also in that category. Okay.
So in that planetary system, the jiva is also punished there, or like what's happening?
Is punished in sense which we discussed just now. Punished in sense, if our children, if our successors, they are not offering any pinda, then we'll suffer. But if they're doing all their rituals, then we'll get our food, we'll get our everything. Like in this ritual, umbrella is donated. Why umbrella is donated? Oh, my pitras will be sitting in sun, they should have some shade. Then in the asana is donated so that they get some resting place. Food is donated so that they get food. So like that, all facilities are given by children or descendants. But if they don't do this ritual, then they will suffer there.
So like we understand that the Yamadutas are sometimes using their hunters and they are also beating the jivas. They are.
See, that happens immediately after person leaves body. Yamadutas, if they come to take any soul, first they will not ask your resume and CV. They will start beating first. they'll start beating heavily, and they drag through the hot sand, thirst and hunger, and that's how they take to Yamloka. First treatment is this. Then Yamaraj decides where he will go. So first only Yamdutas give this punishment. It's described in 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam.
And then Yamaraj is sent to the Pitralok, or like Yamaraj sends?
It depends. It depends on person to person. According to their karma, they are sent to different destinations. And if we are lucky enough to go to hell, then we again get our old friends Yamdutas, and they make sure we get nice treatment there. Like
Prabhu, one thing I wanted to ask. So if we do Pindadan and all, and whatever we ask from the local pandits. So is it okay? Whatever they tell us to do, is it fine, or we should ask a devotee?
Better to have a devotee. Better to have a devotee. But if devotee is not available, see what we can do. We can offer the prasad of the Lord in Pinda. So they get prasad. So we can do that. Even if we don't have a devotee Purohit or Ritvik, then what we can do is we can have prasad. And if we offer prasad there, then Pitras get spiritual benefit.
So let's just say that we have offered this prasad and the jiva is in the Pitralok situation. So just because of this offering of prasad, does that jiva get delivered or relief from that loka directly, or just
we should ask that ourselves. We have taken, I think, 1 truckload of prasad till now in ISKCON. Did we get liberated? It depends on how we accept it. What is our consciousness? Yes, we are sending prasad, but still the jiva has to be receptive.
Now, the question is like this, Prabhuji, that if we are accepting, we are honoring prasad, then it is understood that the Yamadutas does not see the face of that person who accepts the mercy. So just my question is that the jiva who is right now in Pitralok,
that is applicable only if we accept it without doing any sins in future. If we take prasad, do sinful activity, if we take prasad with offensive mind, if we take prasad even unconsciously, it may not give that much result. Okay. There is story of Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya, one time he was taking prasad on the bank of a pukur, a pond. And after taking prasad, he washed his hand in that pukur, in the pond. And as he washed his hand, some of the remnants, a fish took that remnants. And as he took the fish took remnants of Ramanujacharya, immediately fish got 400 form and he went to Vaikuntha. So all disciples of Ramanujacharya which were standing nearby, they got shock of their life. Not because the fish got 400 form. They had that faith. But they got shocked because we are eating every day remnants of our Guru Maharaj. Why nothing happening to us? So they asked Ramanujacharya, why nothing happening to us? This fish got liberated. Ramanujacharya said, the fish was innocent. You all have so much complex mind. If we have that complex mind and we are not innocent, in simple terms, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Jagai Madais, no more sin, then that prasad will be effective. But we do devotional service, but we have so many sinful actions also. It doesn't work.
But Prabhu, isn't it mentioned that if a person becomes a devotee, one devotee also is there in the family, the 7 pushtas are delivered. They get
pure devotee. Pure devotee. There's so many kinds of devotees. Kapil Muni in 3rd canto of Bhagavatam tell 81 types of bhakti. 81 types. So there are so many categories of water. Water for bathing, water for washing feet, and there is pure water also, Himalaya water. So there is so much difference, Pure devotee. That definition is applicable to that. Okay. Okay, so where were we? So much discussion. Okay. So we completed universal worshippers. But now second category is demigod worshippers. Krishna has been talking about this demigod worship since the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. In 3rd chapter, he told how men and demigods, they cooperate with each other and they enjoy in material world, or they experience prosperity. In 7th chapter, Krishna criticizes demigod worshippers. You remember? Alpa Buddhaya and Abuddhaya. Who were with less intelligence and who were without intelligence. Who remember? Less intelligent, without intelligence. 2 categories Krishna told in 7th chapter. Come on, there are only 2 people we can criticize. Less intelligent, no intelligent. Yes, Jagatambika Mataji.
Less intelligent are the demigod worshippers, and
Yes.
non-intelligent are the impersonalists.
Yes, these 2 people only criticize. You criticize them, we get more spiritual benefit. No intelligence, impersonalist. Less intelligent, demigod worshippers. So Krishna already told this in 7th chapter, and now he is again telling how these demigod worshippers are worshipping Lord, but in a wrong way. Let us see it verse by verse. Let us read verse 20. Sudevi Mataji, can you read translation for 20?
Yes, Prabhuji. Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights.
So, is similar to the theme which Krishna told in 7th chapter, Kamastesta Hrita Jnana, Prapandante Anna Devata. You remember? Kamastesta Hrita Jnana, those who are deluded by materialistic desires. So, Krishna is telling the same theme here. Those who want to enjoy in heavenly planets, they worship demigods, which is indirect worship to the Supreme Lord, and they go to the planets of demigods and enjoy there. Amar Nitai Prabhu, can you read next verse, 21?
When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure, and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering the principle of the 3 Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death.
So what Krishna is telling, you can highlight the second line of this verse. Shine punne marta lokam vishanti. You can mark this. Prabhupada would quote it many, many times. Shine punne. Shine means when punya, the pious activities are exhausted. Marta lokam vishanti. They again fall back to material world. Like you check in a hotel for 3 days. And when you check out time on 3rd day, then they will call you. Sir, it is already 10 o'clock. When are you leaving? You said, yeah, we are just packing. After 15 minutes again. If you stay for 1 hour extra, 2 hour extra, and you don't want to pay also for the next day, what they will do? They will send for people to help you to empty the room. That is demigod worship. We go there, we check in with our karma, with our pious activities. But once our pious credit is over, then check out. So check in, check out, check in, check out. We keep on doing in material world. But one place is there where there is no check in and check out. That is our home. In home, there is no check in, check out. That home is spiritual world. When one goes to spiritual world, no more coming back, no more check out. This check in, check out is Shine Punne Martalokam Vishanti. When our pious credits are over, then again we come to Bhumandal and we have to again do pious activities if we want to again enjoy in the heavenly planets. So Krishna is telling that That if you don't want to do this check-in and check-out, then worship me. Ananya chintayanto mam. Ye janah paryupasate. If you really want to be with me, then ananyas chintayanto mam. Very important verse. This verse is the best, one of the best verses of Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is telling that for devotees who are ananyas chintayanto mam, those who are only thinking about me, those who are only surrendering to me, ye janha paryupasate, those who are worshipping me only, tesham nitya abhyuktanam, those who are fixed in my devotion, what I do? Yogakshemam vahamyaham. I fulfill what they lack. I preserve what they have. So what they don't have, I fulfill. And what they have, I protect it. That is Krishna's promise. So why to worry about heavenly pleasures? If we are lacking anything, Krishna will fulfill it in our life if we are completely dependent on him. And whatever we have, Krishna will protect it also. So in India, we have an insurance company. They have taken this line, Yogakshemam Vahamyam. Whatever you have, we'll protect it. And whatever you don't have, we'll fulfill it. And they have put in their motto, LIC, Yogakshemam Vahamyam. But who can give this insurance? Only Krishna can give this insurance. That whatever you lack, I'll fulfill. And whatever you have, I'll protect it. There is a story of Jagannath Puri, Arjuna Acharya. He was a great devotee of Lord and he was studying Bhagavad Gita every day. But his wife was quite fried up. Wife would say that you don't go on work, you don't do anything. Will your Lord fill our empty bellies? He said, yes, my Lord will do everything. Look at this verse, Yogakshemam Vahamyam. So this wife became very angry. And she started to shout and fight. And the poor fellow has to go out to bring some food. Now as he went out, the wife became so angry. She was hungry, children were hungry. She became so angry. She took one pen. I don't know if they were pen that time, maybe some other kind of pen. And she scratched out this line from Bhagavad Gita. Yogakshemam Vahamyam. Said this is wrong. This is lie. We are starving. Where Krishna is fulfilling. In the meantime, there were two boys came on the door. And these two boys knocked the door and they said, we brought so much foodstuffs your husband has sent. The wife started thinking, oh, my husband is such an influential person. I never knew this. No wife can accept that. That is okay. But this she was telling that my husband is such a great person. He sent you with all these good stuffs. He said, yes, please take. And they started to fill the house with all kinds of foodstuffs. And while they were leaving, this lady told, you're so beautiful. Can you stop and eat? I'll prepare food and you eat what I'll cook. So this one of the boy, he said, no, I cannot eat. There is cut on my tongue. And he shows his tongue. It is cut. His tongue was cut. So this lady was he said, who is the cruel person who cut your tongue? Then this boy said, no, this person is not cruel. She was just upset with us. Don't worry. We'll come back soon. And these two boys left. In the meantime, Arjuna Acharya, her husband, came back. And the wife told the whole story. Arjuna Acharya started to cry. He understood the whole thing. Who were these two boys? They were Krishna and Balaram. And since Bhagavad Gita is the words of Shri Krishna, cutting some statements of Krishna means cutting tongue of Krishna. So the lady also realized her mistake. And Krishna is saying, Vahami aham. Vahami means to carry. In Hindi we say Vahan. Vahan means vehicle. Vahan, one who carries, is vehicle. Vahan. Vahami means I personally carry and bring. It's not that Krishna will engage some demigods Krishna will engage. No. Krishna personally takes charge of his devotees. If somebody is completely surrendered unto him, then Krishna takes charge of such devotee. So this verse is very, very important verse. Even while we are trying to serve in temple, this verse is very hope giving for us. Many times we don't know how funds will come, how manpower will come. This verse is our hope. But let us serve Krishna. Krishna will fulfill our all shortcomings. It's very important. But what happens to demigods? Krishna is telling in 23rd verse. Dev Mira Prabhu, can you read? Okay, Yashodanandan Prabhu, can you read?
Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way.
So Krishna is telling they may be thinking that they are worshipping others, but actually they are worshipping me. And it is told in Vedic Shastras that nobody has this caliber to accept worship in other than Krishna. Nobody can accept worship. Suppose like you are a tenant in somebody's house and another tenant brings you the rent. Can you accept that rent? You will say, no, I am also tenant, you are also tenant. So how can I accept your rent? Only owner can accept the rent. The Supreme Personality of it, Krishna is the ultimate owner. So nobody can accept worship. So any worship we do to demigods, other it is worshipping going to Supreme Lord only. But the process is wrong. Namra Sita Mataji.
Prabhu, I have a question from the previous verse only. Doesn't we can we also understand when Krishna says, "I take care of your everything," means our bhakti also, like as we are aspiring devotees. So
Yes, yes, yes. Where Krishna tells about Poshanam in Bhagavatam, 6th canto is Poshanam. That Poshanam means nourishment. And that nourishment means whatever is helpful for our devotional service. Now, if starving is helpful for our devotional service, that is Poshanam. And if feeding nice Rajbhog is helpful for our devotional service, that is Poshanam. So we should not understand that, oh, then let me desire for Apple Watch. Krishna already promised, Yogshyam Mahamyam. So Krishna will send me Apple Watch. Yeah, Krishna may send Apple Watch or Pineapple Watch if it is helpful for devotional service. But if it becomes an obstacle, he may not send also. So Krishna is more concerned for our Poshanam, spiritual nourishment. Okay.
And Prabhu, can we also say that, like, suppose when a person dies and his bhakti is left in between, so it is carried forward by him? Can we also understand by this
Yes,
verse?
yes. Krishna is saying,
preserved?
I preserve what they have is also in relation to the spiritual credits we have. So Krishna preserve it. Bhakti is never, never lost. Krishna protects it, and when the devotee restarts, he restarts from there.
And then the last line says that the Lord protects him from falling down to a miserable condition in life. So
Yes, that is from 2nd chapter. Krishna tells that Neha Bikamanashosti Pratyayana Vidyate Swalpam api asya dharmasya trayato mahato bhayat. Little endeavor on this path, person is saved from greatest danger.
does not go to the lower unit.
Yes. Greatest danger is forgetting Krishna. That is greatest danger. If we are in the lowest planetary system, then also remembering Krishna, that is okay. So Krishna helps his devotees to not forget him. That is biggest help. Okay. So let us read 24. Varat Krishna Prabhu, can you read? Please unmute.
Yeah. Okay. I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down.
So people may worship demigods, but they forget that ultimate enjoyer of the sacrifices is Krishna. Therefore, Krishna even stopped his own father and mother doing sacrifice to Indra. He stopped demigod worship. Because Krishna was thinking that later on I have to give Bhagavad Gita, and my own home, the demigod worship will go on. Why people will accept me? So Krishna stopped demigod worship in his own home when he was 7 years old. And he stopped that, you don't need to bribe the demigods for duties they are doing. So similarly, we have to understand that Krishna is the master of all sacrifices and is Adi Yajna, as we read in the previous chapter and 8th chapter. So therefore, it's not needed to worship others. But if at all I worship, I am so adamant I will worship anyway, then Krishna is saying, okay, 25th verse. This verse is also called as train timetable verse. Train timetable verse. Moksharupi Prabhu. Moksharupi Prabhu, can you read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Let me pronounce. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me.
So it's train timetable or flight timetable. Where you want to go? You want to go to demigods, worship demigods. You want to go to Pitras, worship Pitras. You want to go to ghosts, worship ghosts. You want to go to Krishna, worship Krishna. So that is the thing. Now this doesn't mean that devotee disrespect demigods. No. We worship demigods also. If you come across any demigod temple, we bow down, we offer our prayers, we offer our obeisances. But we understand that they are devotees of Krishna. Similarly, when devotee does Pindadan, it's not that he's not doing Pindadan. He will do, but he will do with Krishna Prasad. He will do with prayers that Krishna, please engage them in your devotional service. So that is the way devotee is doing all these activities. But if somebody independently doing that, then he will go to the same destination. So like that, Krishna is telling about these different demigod worships. Jagatambika Mataji, can you read?
To worship demigods may be accepted if people know that these demigods are authorized agents of the Supreme Lord. There is acceptance of Supreme Lord, but those fools who do not accept the Supreme Lord, God, and misunderstand that this particular type of demigod is all in all, they are doing nonsense. They are placing so many competitors of the Supreme Lord. That is avidhi purvakam. Avidhi purvakam, that is illegal. Nobody can be competitor of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is known as Asam Mordava. Asam Mordava, nobody is greater than the Supreme Lord and nobody is equal on the same level.
People are so foolish. They say, you worship your God, let me worship my God. Why you are fighting? We are not fighting. But there cannot be two fathers. There has to be one father. Lord means Asama Urdhva. Asama. Sama means nobody is equal to him. Urdhva, nobody is greater than him. So if we have this understanding, then there cannot be many gods. There has to be one God. And there should not be any fight also. So therefore, demigod worship is completely wrong because they forget the basic definition of God. That God cannot be many, God has to be one. So like that, there is a discussion about this demigod worship. Let's go further. Now Krishna is telling about how we can worship him. In 25th verse, Krishna told, Yanti mad yajnopi mam, those who worship me, those who become my devotees, they come to me. So natural question comes, how to become your devotee? Krishna gives simple method. Bhakti is not complicated. Bhakti is simple. Again, this verse is very important verse. We can mark this verse. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti uparitam ashnami prayatatmana. Patram, leaf. Pushpam, flower. Phalam, fruit. Toyam, water. Krishna is not even telling pushpani, patrani, phalani. Not plural also, singular form. One flower, one leaf, one fruit, little water. Even we can do this, Krishna will accept it, provided offered with love and devotion. In this verse, 2 times bhakti is used. See in the second line, bhaktya prechati. Third line, bhakti uparitam. 2 times bhakti. The devotion has to be there, then Krishna accepts. One time, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he went to the Sunday school, the Bhaktivedanta school in Mumbai, and all children were standing, with some flowers and, some things to offer to Maharaj. So one child, a small boy, he gave his toy to Maharaj. Because teacher asked that, you should give something to Maharaj. So he gave his toy, his favorite toy. So Maharaj is quoting this verse, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. So it is actually out of love. What you can offer to the Supreme Lord? We cannot offer anything. But out of love, if a devotee offers, the Lord accepts it. Like that, if we are not even able to do that, then Krishna is telling, okay, you cannot offer me these 4 things with love, then do this. Verse 27. Abhimanyu Prabhu, can you read? This is also very important verse. Yat karoshi yadasnasi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapashyasi konteya tat kurusva madarpanam. Please read the translation.
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me.
So if you cannot do bhakti, if you cannot offer me with bhakti, then yat karoshi, whatever you are currently doing, do it for me. Whatever easier for you to do it for me. People are interested in so many types of work. So Krishna is saying, okay, never mind, whatever you are doing, you do it through karma yoga. Yadasnasi, whatever you are eating, offer it to me. Yad juhosi, whatever you are eating, whatever you are offering, you are doing charity, dadasi, give it for me. Tapasyasi, any austerity you are doing, do it for me. If we can just add Krishna in our daily activities, then also Krishna is saying, okay, I will accept it as devotional service. And then what will happen? What will be the result of such devotional service? Krishna is telling in next verse. Vansi Vilasi Mataji, can you read the translation?
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji. In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me, in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me.
So this is the benefit of doing devotional service. That Krishna will free us from all bondage of work and all inauspicious results. All papa and punya will be absorbed by Krishna. And then we can go back to Krishna's eternal abode. Then Krishna, why don't you give this opportunity to everyone? Are you being partial to your devotees? Krishna says, no. Let us read verse 29. Rasamrit Prabhu.
I envy no one, nor I am hostile to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me. I
and I am also a friend to him.
Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dvishasti na priya. I am equal to everyone. I am not enemy to anyone. I am not dear to anyone. Then he is saying, but those whom are devotees, I am especially inclined to them. Then what kind of impartial you are? That is true impartial. See, one teacher is teaching in the class. He is equal to all children. But when teacher conducts exam, the children who have written nice exam paper, teacher has to give more marks to them. Teacher can't say, oh, I am equal to all children, I'll give equal marks to all. No. Those who are attempted nice exam, they will be scoring more. Those who have not written anything, they may not receive the same grade. In the same way, Krishna is telling, yes, I am equal to everyone. But those who are completely dependent on me, completely sheltered unto me, I am especially inclined to them. That is Krishna's love for his devotees. And look at to what degree Krishna loves his devotees. This 30th verse is again a very hope-giving verse to devotees. That how Krishna never leaves his devotees. Very important verse. Api chetu sudharacharo bhajate ma mananyabha sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavasvasti hisa. That how Krishna, to what degree Krishna loves his devotees. Kripalu Keshavi Mataji, can you read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination.
So Krishna, see, he already told about demigod worshipper, impersonalist, everything. Now imagine they are doing their process very perfectly. Then also Krishna is not happy with them. And here Krishna is telling that even if my devotees, they do abominable actions. Duracharo means bad actions. Suduracharo means abominable action. Most abominable action. Then also you should consider him sadhu. Then also you should consider him a devotee. Why? Because he's not leaving me. He's engaged me ananya bhav, without any deviation. He does mistakes, but then also he's not leaving me. So eventually you'll get purified. So nobody should criticize my devotees. See how possessive Krishna is to his devotees. He is telling that even if my devotees do mistakes, you have to accept them as sadhu. I accept them as sadhu if they never leave my shelter. So to that degree, Krishna loves his devotees. And it's not that they will remain faulty throughout their lives. No. The process of devotional service is so pure that Shipram bhavati dharmatma saswa shantim nigacchati konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Krishna is telling that devotee Shipram bhavati dharmatma, very soon, even a devotee who does mistakes, who has so many faults, he will become dharmatma. He'll become pure. And swaswa shantim nigacchati, he will be completely peaceful. Here peaceful means he will not have any more material desires. Therefore, O Kaunteya, O Arjun, declare it boldly, my devotee never perish. Name bhakta pranashyati. My devotees never perish. Arjun may ask Krishna, why don't you declare yourself? Why you want me to declare? Krishna says, I am very bad at it. I am very bad at keeping promises. I promise people and then I break. But one thing is sure, if my devotee declares something, then I fulfill it anyhow. So if you tell it around that my devotee will never perish, devotees, other people will believe it more than my telling it directly. Konte pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. My devotee never perishes. So this is Krishna's love for his devotees. Therefore, now Krishna is summarizing in last 3 verses what we should do. Mami partha vipasritya yepi syo papa yonaya stri vaishya tatha shudro tepi antim paramgati. Therefore, one has to learn to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. Arun Charan Prabhu, can you read?
O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, when Vaishyas, that is merchants, and Shudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination.
So there is no pre-qualification to become a devotee. For becoming a yogi, we need so many qualifications. Becoming a jnani, we need so many qualifications. Becoming karmi, we need so many qualifications. But to become a devotee of Lord, no qualification. Anyone from any status, any point in time, he can take to pure devotional service of the Lord. Okay, who can read? Shri Radha Kripa Katakshi Mataji, can you read? Verse 33.
The translation?
Yes.
How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me.
Kim puna brahmana punna bhakta rajarishya tutha. How long, what you can achieve by different other processes? Just be engaged in my devotional service and you'll be free from this material world. And then comes the golden verse of this chapter. Actually, this is the golden verse of the whole Bhagavad Gita. We can even say this is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Man mana bhava mad bhakto vadyaji mam namaskuru mam eveshyasi yuktevam atmanam mat parayana. Similar verse will come in 18th chapter also. The first two lines will be exactly same. Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Krishna is saying that therefore Arjun, he is summarizing now. Therefore Arjun, give your mind to me. Give your whole attention to me. Somebody say it's too much. How can we give all attention to you? We have our children, we have family. No, it's too much. You say, okay, at least become my devotee. At least become my devotee. No, that also too much. Okay, worship me. Sometimes morning worship, evening worship, at least do that much. No, that is also too much. Namaskuru, at least offer obeisances to me. That Krishna, I am yours. Ma vevashyasi yuktevam atmanam mat parayana. If you become absorbed in me, you will surely come back to me. Venudhari Prabhu, can you read the translation?
Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me.
So this is a very direct instruction of Krishna, where he is telling, you become demigod worshippers, you are worshipping in a wrong way. If you become impersonalist, you are a mudha. You don't understand me at all. You worship Vishwarupa, you can have some aspect of my realization, but not complete. But if you become my devotee, you come back to me. So Bhagavad Gita, the main essence of Bhagavad Gita is devotional service. And this 9th chapter is so beautiful chapter. And we can read these verses again and again, and they can give so much hope, inspiration, faith in our devotional service. So please revise this chapter very nicely. Please read these purports very nicely. And if any doubt is there, you can ask today, or you can mark it. You can also ask tomorrow. Yes, Moksharupi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, actually I have a question. My phone got disturbed. Prabhu, can you just give one example in the from of verse 30, that how a person falls down, like Suduracharu, example of Suduracharu. Any?
We can take example of Ajamil. Ajamil fell, he did some mistake, but then Krishna gave him second chance. We can take example of even we can take example of Yudhishthir Maharaj. He gambled, he did gambling, apichet suduracharo, but then still Krishna gave him chance. So like that, there can be many instances where devotee can make many mistakes, but Krishna never forsake his devotee if he is not leaving his shelter. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Bharat Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah. Talking about this chapter, I remember reading that Indradumna Swami, in the very early stage, he was not Swami then, he was preaching somewhere in, far away from Paris. And he had to go to Paris because Srila Prabhupada was there. So in his congregation, there was one commander, of the Navy who was there. And so Indradumna Prabhu said that, okay, I'm going to Paris to meet my spiritual master. So anybody want to come? So this commander-in-chief or whatever, he says, yes, I want to come. And he drove them, for 9, he and his wife went, to meet Prabhupada in Paris. They drove for nearly 9-10 hours, they reached there. And then Indradumna Prabhu introduced that commander-in-chief, of the Navy, French Navy, to Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada, told him, you read the Bhagavad Gita in French, it was there. So the commander-in-chief says, I can't read that. It's too big, it's too much. Then he says, tell me what to read. Prabhupada was a bit at loss, Then finally Prabhupada said, you read only this chapter 9 of the Bhagavad Gita. And later on, Indradumna Prabhu met him again, and in another circumstance, and he was reading that, and you can just imagine, he was still, very Krishna conscious. He received, just to tell you that to me also, when I heard this, and I feel very strongly about this chapter 9. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Therefore, now we understand why Krishna told in the beginning of this chapter, Raj Vidya Raj Guhyam. This is the king of all knowledge. In beginning, we may think, yeah, Krishna is trying to sell his product. But you see the whole chapter, now we understand that yes, this is the essence of whole Bhagavad Gita. So very important chapter. Tomorrow, if you have some doubts in this chapter, you can write it down and bring. And we'll start 10th chapter tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai.